Hey guys, welcome back to Anime Gossips. This is my recap for the anime Alya sometimes hides her feelings in Russian. The story begins with a beautiful girl entering a school. As she walks in, all the students start greeting her, and some wonder if she is Alya. However, Alya ignores them and keeps walking. Then a handsome boy steps in front of her and says good morning. This time Alya replies with good morning. The boy introduces himself as Ando from the second year. He tells Alya that he heard a lot about her from her sister, so he has always wanted to meet her. He then asks if she would like to have lunch with him, but Alya quickly denies it. Ando laughs in shock and then asks if they can exchange phone numbers. But Alya responds that she's not interested in him. Ando is shocked, and his phone drops from his hand. As Alya walks away, she warns Ando that the necklace he's wearing is against the school rules. Everyone watches in shock since Ando is very popular among girls, but Alya rejected him so quickly. After that, Alya reaches her classroom and notices Kuzai sleeping. She greets him with good morning, but when he does not reply, she kicks the table and wakes him up. Then Alya says good morning again and asks if he stayed up late last night watching anime. Kuzai replies with good morning and admits that he did stay up late as he was watching anime until 1 am. He also mentions that he ended up discussing the anime's feedback for too long. Alya thinks he never learns from his mistakes, as he often sacrifices his sleep just to watch anime. Alya wonders if Kuzai meant sharing feedback online, but Kuzai shakes his head and says he called his otaku friends and chatted for 2 hours about the anime. Hearing this, Alya asks if he's a fool. Kuzai confidently replies that maybe he is a fool for expressing his love for something he enjoys. Alya then apologizes but calls him a hopeless fool. Then Kuzai compliments Alya, saying that she looks great today. Then he yawns, and when Alya looks at him, she calls him cute in Russian. He gives her a surprised look, and she asks, "What?" Kuzai pretends not to know what she said and asks if she said something. To cover up, Alya says that she said he looks ugly. After that, Kuzai asks Alya if he can take a look at her chemistry textbook. Alya wonders if he forgot his book again, and when he admits it, she agrees. Then Kuzai moves his bench closer to Alya's. While the teacher is teaching, Kuzai starts feeling sleepy. Suddenly, Alya hits him with her pen, which wakes him up in shock, and he raises his hand. The teacher misunderstands and asks Kuzai to answer the question. Kuzai stands up and tries to figure out what question they're on. And then he sees Alya pointing at something in her book. He quickly gives the answer, but the teacher says it's wrong. The teacher then asks Alya if she knows the answer, and Alya stands up and gives the correct one, which surprises Kuzai. Then Kuzai asks Alya not to give him the wrong answer again. But Alya replies that she was just pointing out the question, not the answer. Kuzai reminds her that she was clearly pointing to number 2, but Alya denies it, calling it an awful accusation and giving a teasing laugh. Seeing this, Kuzai angrily says that her eyes are smiling. Then Alya calls him cute in Russian again, which shocks Kuzai, and he asks what she said. To cover up, Alya says she called him a fool. Alya calls him cute in Russian once more, and Kuzai starts wondering why she keeps saying the same thing, and whether she even knows that he understands everything she's saying. Alya then says in Russian that he's blushing like a baby, and Kuzai wonders who the baby is here. After that, Kuzai remembers that he used to play with a Russian girl who lived near his grandpa's house, and that's how he learned enough Russian to understand most of it. However, he never expected to meet someone like Alya, the Russian beauty who sits next to him in class. He thinks that if he reveals to Alya that he understands Russian, she might faint from surprise, so he decides to keep it a secret. When the lecture ends, Kuzai takes out his phone, but Alya reminds him that phones are only allowed in school for emergencies and educational purposes. He replies that he has an emergency. Alya asks what the emergency is. Kuzai explains that the free card draw in his game will end in 10 minutes. Alya is surprised and asks how he dared to say that in front of a student council member. But then, Kuzai suddenly gets excited and explains that the rare SSR Tsukuyomi card is available. Alya quickly snatches his phone to take a look. After seeing it, Alya asks if Tsukuyomi is the moon god in Japanese mythology and wonders why the character has silver hair instead of black. Kuzai thinks maybe it's to match the moon. He then tells Alya not to worry about the details because Tsukuyomi is cute after all. Alya angrily hands his phone back, and then says in Russian that she also has silver hair and calls him a playboy. Kuzai is shocked and asks what she just said. Alya covers up by saying she called him a game loser. Kuzai tells her that it's rude to call him a game loser, especially after he spends so much money on games. Alya agrees and says she doesn't think anyone would want to be compared to him, which Kuzai finds very harsh. In the cafeteria, Takeshi suddenly shouts that he wants to be popular. Then, another boy asks Kuzai what he's eating. Kuzai replies that it's extra spicy Mappo ramen. Suddenly, they notice that members of the student council Alisa, Maria, and Yuki are there. Kuzai's friend says that Maria and the others are really beautiful. Takeshi agrees and says that Maria is beautiful and that he wants to get to know her. But Kuzai jokes that even if she didn't have a boyfriend, Takeshi still wouldn't have a chance. After hearing this, Takeshi asks Kuzai to shut up and not get cocky just because Alya is his friend. Takeshi is jealous that Kuzai gets to call Alya by a nickname, but Kuzai replies that all he does is annoy her. However, Takeshi still thinks it's great because Alya does not talk to anyone else. Meanwhile, Suo is looking for a place to sit and notices Kuzai. So she goes to his table and asks if she can sit there. Kuzai says he doesn't mind, and he asks his friends if they mind, and they agree too. Then Suo and Alya sit with them to have lunch. Suo notices that Kuzai ordered the same thing as her. Takeshi is surprised and says he didn't know that Suo ate that kind of food. Suo replies that she does and mentions that she often goes out to eat ramen on weekends. After taking a bite, Suo finds the ramen delicious, but thinks it could be spicier. Kuzai agrees and says it would be perfect with some chili oil. Then Suo jokes that they could bring up the topic of chili oil at the next student council meeting. But Kuzai wonders how she can mix personal and public matters like that. Suo then says she is just kidding. Alya sees their interaction and asks if they are close. Suo tells her that she and Kuzai are childhood friends and have been going to the same school since kindergarten. Then Kuzai asks Suo if she and Alya are close. Suo replies that they are getting to know each other and then mentions that she wants to become friends with Alya. However, Alya says that if they became friends, Suo might not have fun. Suo then asks Alya if she would mind becoming her friend, and Alya replies that she doesn't mind. After that, Takeshi and the other friend leave the table. Then Suo gets close to Kuzai and asks if he has thought about joining the student council. Kuzai replies that he has no intention of joining. Suo reminds him that if he joins, he will get to work with her and Alya. Then Suo tells Alya that she was the president and Kuzai was the vice president in the past. Kuzai explains that he only joined because Suo asked him, as in their school, the student council president and vice president had to team up. So he had no choice but to help. After hearing this, Alya says that she has known about that for a long time in Russian, and then angrily drinks her soup. After Suo leaves, Alya tells Kuzai that she is surprised to know that he has a female friend. Kuzai wonders why she's surprised, and when Alya asks what he means, Kuzai explains that she is also his female friend. Then Alya asks if they are friends, but Kuzai questions back if they are not, and Alya replies yes, they are. Then she walks ahead. Kuzai asks where she's going, and Alya informs him that she is heading to the student council room. Meanwhile, at night, Kuzai dreams about a past moment when he was playing with a Russian girl. They watched the sunset and talked in Russian. But just as the girl is about to kiss him, he wakes up. He recalls how he studied Russian so hard because he wanted to talk to her, but now he does not even remember her name. The next day, Kuzai goes to school early and cleans the classroom. When Alya arrives, he greets her with a good morning, and she responds the same. He explains that he woke up early and had nothing to do, so he decided to clean the classroom. Alya says that it must be a rare day since he woke up early. Kuzai ignores the joke and compliments her on how good her Japanese is. Suddenly, Kuzai notices Alya's dirty socks and asks what happened. Alya explains that they got wet from a splash caused by a passing truck, but she considers it her fault for walking too close to the road. She reassures him that it's okay since she has spare socks. Then she asks Kuzai if he and Suo were both on the student council in middle school. When Kuzai says yes, she asks if he is planning to join the student council now. Kuzai gets curious about why she's asking, so he tries to avoid the question. However, Alya insists for an answer, and Kuzai finally tells her that he's not planning to join the student council. After that, Alya suddenly takes off her socks, which surprises Kuzai. He quickly tries to look away, but Alya notices and playfully asks him to bring her spare socks from her locker, mentioning that she can't walk since she's already taken her socks off. Kuzai agrees and brings them for her. When he returns, Alya asks him to help her put the socks on. This shocks Kuzai, and he questions why she is asking him to do it. Alya replies that it is a reward for him for bringing her socks. Kuzai hesitates and says that such a request is usually reserved for a special group of people. Alya teases him by asking if he considers it a reward, and he reluctantly admits that he does. Then she quietly says that this is also a reward for her in Russian. After hearing this, Kuzai wonders why Alya uses Russian to hide her true feelings, and thinks that she might be teasing him on purpose. Alya sees him confused and asks what's wrong. Kuzai replies he was just thinking about what she said. Alya quickly covers up by saying that she called him a wimp, then tells him to forget it, and that she will put the socks on herself. But this time, Kuzai gets serious and grabs her leg. As he starts putting the socks on her feet, his hand accidentally slips and touches a place that he shouldn't have. Alya gets shocked and kicks him in the face, and then walks away. After realizing he messed up, Kuzai wonders what to do next. After some time, Kuzai stops Alya, and she asks him what he wants. Kuzai struggles to find the right words. Then Alya calls him a pervert with a foot fetish in Russian. Kuzai asks if she can forgive him now. Alya replies that she's not angry anymore and even apologizes for kicking him. She asks if he's okay, and Kuzai says yes, though she seems unsure and moves closer to check his neck. Kuzai quickly steps back and insists that it doesn't hurt at all. Suddenly, he thanks her for showing him something good. Alya gets shocked and realizes that he might have seen her underwear. Kuzai confirms this by thanking her again for showing him something so beautiful. Alya gets furious and punches him in the face. She then calls him a fool in Russian. To calm her down, Kuzai asks her to take pity on his neck. He starts chasing after her and apologizes for going too far, but Alya angrily tells him to shut up and stop following her. Kuzai suggests they sit and talk, but Alya replies that she has nothing to say. Then, she suddenly jumps over a wall, and Kuzai realizes how athletic she is. After 10 minutes, both Kuzai and Alya get tired, so they sit down to rest on some stairs. Kuzai asks Alya if she's okay, and she replies that she would not be in this condition if he had not chased her. Kuzai agrees and apologizes, but then Alya says it's her fault as well. Then, Kuzai offers her a can of red bean soup. Alya suspiciously asks what he wants. Kuzai sweetly replies that he hopes it can be a small token of his apology. Alya tells him not to be so dramatic, but takes the soup, mentioning that she's only accepting it because she's thirsty. Then, Alya asks in Russian if he wants a drink. Kuzai is shocked and wonders if she means an indirect kiss, and if saying yes would mean he can kiss her indirectly. To avoid the situation, he pretends not to understand and asks her what she said. Alya quickly covers up by saying she meant that after exercising, they should drink something sweet. Kuzai replies that usually people drink something cold after exercising. Alya then gives a playful smile and says in Russian that he doesn't know anything. But inside, Kuzai is screaming that he understands everything. And that's the end of the video. Please comment and let me know if you want a recap of the next episode of this anime. As always, if you liked what you saw, subscribe to the channel. I'll be uploading a lot of videos just like this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, goodbye.